Hello everyone, welcome to my demonstration of NWN Cloud. In this demonstration I'll show you very briefly the capabilities of NWN Cloud from a user perspective. All throughout this module, it's a very short demo module, certainly not the way that I intended NWN Cloud to be used per se, but I guess it could be. What I've done is created a bunch of placeable objects that will allow you to load modules, whether they be area transitions, such as this transition point to a module called itropa. Um, what happens is basically as a user interacts with the object, it's just a door or a placeable, and that will begin to load the module for them. So here I'm going to interact with the door, and it's going to give me a message saying a module is not ready yet. Check back in a few moments. What's happening is a server is being turned on and it's being told to load the module itropa, which is a persistent world I downloaded from um, the NW Vault. What happens is once that once the server is loaded, I put in some visual effects to kind of show that things are progressing. So red light means that the server isn't on yet or is booting. Yellow light means the server is booted but hasn't loaded the module, and green means that the module has loaded and talked to the server. You can load more than one module at a time if you have multiple players. I have an Ascension uh, module I downloaded. I just clicked that and I loaded it. I actually already using this system. I had loaded in a Run server. So those of you who are familiar with Run, here we go. I can show you the transition point for that. So you just interact with the object and they take you to the destination server. So here we are. For those of you who are familiar with Run, I can go in and play in this persistent world as long as I want. I've created in the, let me go back to the portal. I've included in all of the server, in the includes, I've included placeable objects that will return you to your hub server. So as we can see here that itropa is just about finished loading and Ascension is currently loading. Looks like itropa is ready to go. So now we can click on this server or this portal and we should end up in the itropa module. And here we are. If you've ever played this persistent world, 50, 60 areas, lots of content, lots of work by people. Um,
I bid you greetings.
and we're going to go back to the server portal, which will take us back to our portal town. So what's happening right now is the servers will be left on, but they're not going to stay on forever. So, for example, this itropa, what you're eventually gonna see is this will go from yellow, and that light will fade away. And what's gonna happen is the server that itropa was running on will be powered off. I'm just showing you connecting to Ascension module now. And here we are. Now all these modules are very different. They all have their different rules and stuff, as other people have mentioned. If you have ILR on one module and you don't have ILR on another module, then some of your equipment that you have won't transition between servers, or you won't be able to use them. I mean, if you have items that have custom usage, that have to be included in one of the global on activate files. It's obviously not going to work in other servers, so it's not meant to fix all those little problems, but what it does do is allows me to keep the same character in between the different modules. So it's just something different to think about. So, and of course, another cool and useful thing about this is the ability to store things persistently. This is another module called Genesis. I've even put in a against the cult of the lizard god from the NW Vault. It's not a persistent world. It's just another kind of 10-hour module gameplay. Um, it'll have to be adjusted to persistent world gameplay because the servers get deleted and stuff as they go along. So one of the problems that ultimately you'll run into is you're basically going to need to have everything um, adjusted to apps data. You're gonna have the apps database connector running in all of your modules, and you'll probably have to update your set local ints and set local strings to set persistent int and set persistent string. That's a little bit of a coding hurdle, scripting hurdle, but it's really not an unsurmountable hurdle. Um, and in this module, I've just went and I've added one of the persistent, I think Scarface persistent banking system in here, so that if I want to, I can store some of this stuff persistently. And you do seem to collect a lot of junk between servers. I guess part of the point is I can load this Scarface persistent banking in any of those modules and access them across any of the different modules. So that, even though that module is off 1 minute, it goes back on and you still have access to all of your objects and your items. Um, I'm just showing you these are two other modules that are just loading while we're waiting. I mean, it's not instantaneous because we're trying to save a little bit of resources by keeping servers powered down when they're not in use. But eventually, uh, that rune server, that rune portal up here is gonna, that green light is gonna go away because it's not being used. And I use NWNX to reset the module, which causes a countdown. Once it's empty, it causes a countdown for the server to finally be decommissioned. So I just loaded this Genesis world that I got off NWN Vault. Of course, there's a good chance I forgot to put a server vault, server portal entry to go back to the town. Oh, I did. There it is. And I'm back. Okay, definitely didn't add one for the against the cult of the lizard, lizard king or whatever. But that basically concludes this Fraps intro to the NWN Cloud. I'll make another YouTube video that basically shows how this thing works, how to set it up. Maybe take a couple screenshots of Amazon. I'm building a web interface through Webmin. Don't worry about it if you don't know what that is. It'll just basically be a web way to activate the NWN Cloud. But that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to respond to the post that I put in this, and look forward to your comments.